Greetings and welcome, family. It's so wonderful to see you, Black Homeschoolers Unite, fam. So, today we are doing an amazing podcast. And I just wanted to share a little bit about this. So, welcome to Learning Outside the Box, the Homeschool Chronicles. Woo, woo, woo. So, if you are a Black family who's curious about homeschooling or simply wants to learn from experienced homeschoolers like Miesha, who will be our amazing guest today, who are just doing phenomenal things, then guess what? You're in the right place. At Learning Outside the Box, the Homeschooling Chronicles, we're celebrating diversity and creativity of Black homeschoolers. We're going to showcase a variety of different stories from homeschooling families who have found their own unique paths to success. So, because let's face it, homeschooling is about learning outside the box. There's no one size fits all approach to, educating our children like many people believe, and we're here to prove it. So, through our interviews and conversations, we aim to answer your burning questions about homeschooling and provide you with inspiration and ideas to make your homeschooling journey a success. So, family, so just join us on this exciting adventures as we explore the world of Black homeschoolers, one story at a time. Together, we're going to learn and grow and discover the endless possibilities of homeschooling outside the box. So now I am going to introduce our phenomenal guest, beautiful and amazing Miesha. Welcome,
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you for
So
having
happy
me
to have
here.
Yes, it's so wonderful to have you. And a little bit about Miesha. She's been homeschooling for 5 years, right? And you
Yes.
have two beautiful children.
I
You
have
started
one.
off, you
I do
have
have
what?
one.
Oh, I
Yes.
thought you said 1 year old and a 12. Okay, so you have a 12-year-old. Okay, I
Yes.
misunderstood. One 12-year-old. And so you started off in traditional school and moved into homeschooling, and you have a very eclectic approach, which I'm so excited to into. And so would you like to start off with sharing a little bit about your homeschooling journey, moving from traditional to
Yeah.
homeschooling, traditional school,
Well, yeah,
which a lot
first I
of us
just
have
want
done?
to say thank you for having me here. I've been following you for quite some time. And even like when we do have our chats, like I'm just like, hey, I use you as a resource when I got started. So it's been a long and exciting journey. Like every year I'm still learning. So I'm just happy to be here to share my experiences with everyone.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about. Sharing is caring because you've gone through this whole journey. I'm sure you had ups and downs and everything in between,
Yeah.
but you're coming out where your son is thriving and having some amazing experiences.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
can't wait to dive more into that. So, can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to homeschool your son?
Yeah. So
And even how
I
old he is and anything you
Okay,
like to
so yeah,
share.
my son, he is 12 now. But when I got into homeschooling, it was actually from a company that I work for. And we were sponsoring a homeschool convention. And when you think about homeschooling, like I was just like everybody else. Like I was like, first I said, why are they having a homeschool convention? Like, is it really that serious? But then when we went there, it was just like, I didn't know that all these people homeschooled. And then as I learned more about it, it's a whole new world. Like, I had my son. I He was only 4 at that time when I sponsored that convention. So I didn't really know much about it, but I also knew that, like, based on the way I worked and the way I traveled, I wasn't it's something that I knew that I was interested in, but I knew I couldn't do at that time. but it always stuck with me, like in the back of my head, like, I really want a more customized education for my child. I do care about what he's learning. And it hasn't always just been like homeschool the whole time, you know. Like most of us, we go through different phases. So he was, and it depends on where you are in your educational journey too. So for us, we had just left. We were living in Georgia at the time. They have the Georgia TK program. He was in a great program there. But then we moved to California, and it was just like a big change. I'm like, oh, okay. So I stuck with it, and then there was times I was like, I don't know how much longer I can do this educational system, but
Mhm.
homeschooling always stayed in my mind. So then I'm so grateful that I live in California. I know that you have people all over, and some states do this where they provide like assistance. So I was getting assistance for homeschooling my child. That was something that was like so amazing to me. I didn't know I can get that, but it was just like there were hidden gems to this homeschool journey all throughout the way, but it's like I had to do so much research or meet the right person just to figure it out to help navigate me on this journey. And I'm still learning,
Mhm.
but that's literally how we got started. I just sometimes I got tired of the public school system, and then I just started doing research. And then in California, I signed up with a charter school. It's like a virtual charter
Mhm.
school, and they give me, so much money a month. I'm not a month, sorry, a year to homeschool my child, and I use that for extracurricular activities like fencing,
Oh,
um,
wow.
like computer engineering. Like it's a really amazing thing that we have in California, and that's what we were receiving at one point in time. But now it's like we moved on to another part of our homeschooling journey where he goes to a hybrid school 2 days a week,
Mm.
and it's just he does that 2 days a week, and then the other 3 days we're doing our homeschool bunch. So that's what we started. It's an enrichment program for kids, and literally they're doing things like cooking, yoga,
Wow.
coding, robotics, STEM. Like they're doing all of these programs in our drop off centers that we have.
I love that. So I have a question. A lot of times when people are homeschooling, they believe that it takes place in the corners of the home. But listening to you, it sounds like a lot of activities outside of the actual home that people would consider the classroom. Can you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about that in terms of like homeschooling outside of the home and the whole
Mhm.
eclectic approach?
Yes. So that's the thing. You know how it is being a homeschool parent. It definitely has a stigma. People think that homeschool kids don't get any socialization. They think that we're literally sitting at home all day. And I will admit, there are some families who are sitting at home all day because they don't have the resources, or they don't know of the resources that are in their area. And that's why it's like, as a homeschool community, we need to start speaking up more, and also not cowering, in a corner, because, we get so much pushback when it comes to homeschooling. So what I do is I like to provide those resources. I like to let people know, like, hey, there's a world and there's opportunities outside of your home. Some of them are free, some of them may cost, but they would be great opportunities for your homeschool family. With my groups, we go on field trips, and they're not just, your typical field trips to a museum. We've had some pretty cool field trips, like we went to see Jane Goodall. We went to and like we saw Jane Goodall. We did the iFly experience, and it's not just like, oh, we're going on a roller coaster. Like, no, we're having STEM educational events and experiences outside of our home, and if we come together as a group, we can get it for like discounted rates. So we just try to give our families different experiences. Um, Outside of their home, and also let them know, like, you don't have to just have your kids sitting inside the house doing workbooks all day. Like there's different websites like Brain Pop or Khan Academy, or if you don't want to use digital aspects, there's different homeschool toolkits that you can buy, from different vendors. But it's learning that these vendors are out there, and the only way to learn is if you join, Facebook groups like yourself and other Facebook groups where they talk about those things.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing those nuggets. And before we get to the end of this, though, we're going to share all about your, business so people can get in contact with you. But I
Mhm.
do want to dive in a little bit more about sharing some of the obstacles that you had in terms
Mhm.
of homeschooling. We talked a little bit, you mentioned about meeting other people of color and children, and that was an obstacle. Can you share a little bit more about your obstacles and how you were able to overcome them in your homeschooling journey?
Yes. So for me, I live in Los Angeles and I grew up in Los Angeles, and it's definitely changed since I was a kid. So now, I moved from Georgia to Los Angeles. So, it's been kind of a culture shock for us. But I
Mm,
noticed that, like the only people in the school system that was with my kid that was of color were the janitor or the crossing guard. And
yeah.
I always tell that story. And then it's just like, I pulled him out because I wanted him to see that, we are here, we are everywhere. Like, and you can have, more of an education doing different things. But some of the obstacles I've had, like specifically with my son, is that, he's getting to that age where he wants to be around people, where he sees himself. He wants to learn about things. He wants to learn about who he is. He wants to learn about his culture. And it's just, the education system with their teaching, it's just like we want to be included. So that's some of the challenges I face on my journey, is just finding those instances where he can see that, hey, this is where you fit into society. These are the accomplishments that we've had, besides certain things like slavery. I think
Right.
really like the educational piece has been very important to me because I also had to unschool myself in this whole process. That's been a huge obstacle for me being a homeschool mother, because it's almost like you have imposter syndrome in the education sense. Like people will tell us, oh, like how are you
Absolutely.
qualified to be a teacher?
Mm,
And it's just
true
like
story.
I am, like, I know I'm a mom, and I know, I'm Miesha, um, and I know that it's like Ayana Valiant says, like, I know, like, I know, like, I know, like, um, that I'm capable of homeschooling my child. And there's days where I feel like I am not capable, those are like the self-doubt of homeschooling. That's been a challenge for us on so many different levels. It's different every day. I'm not going to act like
Yes.
homeschooling is, rainbows and butterflies every day. It's not. So it's just like getting through those battles and developing a community where you guys can talk about that, to understand like, hey, oh, okay, I'm not crazy, I'm not the only one going through this, and how can I figure this out and move forward. That's something that's
Yeah.
been really important to me, because this has been the biggest, it's like diving into the ocean, like, and you never know what you're gonna get on any given day, or any given week. And but then also it's like,
Yes.
is it working out for everybody? Is he actually learning? It's like tracking the progress.
Important. So important. And I love how you were speaking about, which I always share with families, is so important, like the deschooling process,
Mhm.
where you basically unlearn everything that you learned in school, the indoctrination that may not be in the best interest
Yeah.
for our children or even ourselves. So
Yeah.
that, thank you for sharing that. And what are some of the things that you've done to push through, to help you push through, besides like the community, to deal with some of the obstacles? Like how are you able to create these communities and that
um
support?
it's really just tapping into the community that I've developed. um it's, my community is so strong. It's just a group of different people. We all choose to homeschool for different reasons, you know. But for me, what helps me push through is, you know, asking for help. I
Mm,
have a huge community that, you know, that helps me, community of moms who get it. Some of them homeschool, some of them don't. But there's areas where I'm strong, you know, and they may be weak, or, you know, they're weak and I may be strong, and we just come together and help one another. So
awesome.
that's definitely helped me get through a lot on this journey, because it hasn't been easy. You know, even like trying to finance, you know, this journey, and, you know, make a livelihood for our family, like, you know, and deal with real life stuff at the same time, and make sure your kids have a good education. Like, it's so many components for this journey. And we just have to, you know, every day we're waking up like, okay, like, we know we have a routine. We know that we may, you know, deter a little bit. We know that mentally, you know, we checking into our mental health. um, that's something that's been really important for us too. You know, with pursuing this journey, just making sure we're tapping into each other on a social and emotional level,
Mm,
as a family, because, you know, like, some things you separate church and state. Like with homeschool, there it's like you're trying to separate homeschool and family, you know, because it's like, okay, we wear so many hats in this whole world that we're in. It's like, ooh, we had a tough day, you know, in at homeschool, but then like, okay, now let's cut this off, and hey, I'm your mom now. What's going on? Like, how's your day? You know,
yeah.
so just navigating that aspect of this journey has been a real, like, you know, real, and I have twins now, so you understand. um, but just navigating that journey, you know, it's been very interesting.
Yes, I love it. We talked a little bit about your obstacles and how you're able to overcome it with your community, and it seems like you really work on your mindset
Mhm.
also. What have been some of the blessings that have come into your life due to homeschooling and to your family? What are some of the benefits?
The benefits, honestly, like, I was talking to my friend about it, and, you know, like I said, I didn't always start off homeschooling. Like, when I first found out about it, I had to literally rework my whole life.
Mm,
Or it's, I don't want to say I had to rework it. The universe reworked my whole life. You know, you hear these stories like, well, how'd you get into this? Like, people think, oh, you have to be like this rich person to be a homeschooler. Like, no, like, you know, I got laid off my job. You know,
mm,
like, I had to, you know, the pandemic happened, you know, or
mhm,
I started a job. I thought I was gonna be working remote. And then I wasn't working remote anymore. I had to put my son back in school. And I was
mm.
like, oh, that was a challenge. But it's just been really just a journey of figuring out like how to work myself into this world, and develop, find ways to still sustain our life, during the process too, and make
Absolutely.
sure that we're having, you know, mentally we're good, emotionally we're good, financially we're good, and just building, you know, I really feel like I found my passion in homeschooling, built a business around it. But I also want to help other
Mm,
people, you know, say like, okay, you may not want a homeschool business. You just want a business in general. Like, how do I maintain my business, my family, my son, you know, my kids' education? Like, that's something that we help our families with.
I love it. So a little bit more into like some of the positive things that you've seen
Hmm.
with your son once you
Hmm.
started this process. Like
Yeah.
any like benefits that you've seen like physically, like in his emotional
Hmm.
well-being and his learning or any other areas have you seen since you began this homeschooling journey?
Yeah, I with that, I would say again, it's the unschooling of, you know, when we're looking at the progress of our children, what exactly are we looking for? You know, coming from the educational system, they held them to different standards.
Mhm.
So it's just like, when you're getting to the homeschool journey, a lot of people think, oh, we're just going to go buy this workbook. But
Mm,
it's really trying to get to understand who your child is, because
mhm,
honestly, I didn't know who my child was before I started homeschooling him, because
mm,
I only saw him from this time to this time, because then we had to go rush and go to school, and I had to go to work, and it was usually like, come on, let's go, we're rushing out the house to go to school. And then it's like, when you start homeschooling, it's like, okay, there's no more of that. Now it's like, hey, how are you doing? What are you interested in learning today? I
mm,
see that you always like Legos. I'm always stepping on Legos. Maybe you like building stuff. Okay, you like building stuff.
mm,
You're always playing that video game. Okay, I want you to be a producer, not a consumer. Let's
mm.
get into coding
I
you
love
know
it.
so it's like, on this journey, like we get to learn our kids more, and it's on us to go out and find those resources for them, whether they may be free or whether they may be charged a slight amount. But there are so many resources out there for us, like the
There really
library. Oh my
is.
gosh, I rediscovered the library, as a homeschool parent. It's like just so many resources out there that is for us. And we benefited from it. Like my son, he's done coding. From this experience, and because we have the time for it, if we were in a regular school, we wouldn't have the time for this. But he
Mm,
got accepted into the LA Philharmonic, and
ooh,
he's doing saxophone. Yeah,
wow.
so we go there 4 days a week. Golf, like he's had the opportunity to travel, for golf, and was able to be at the Tiger Woods Golf Invitational. Like we're able
Wow.
to go have these different experiences, because of our homeschool journey.
That's
And
amazing.
just what he's been learning. We were watching a movie, I think, the other day, and they said, Yemen. Okay. And I don't pretend to know everything, right? But um, he said, "Oh, that's near Saudi Arabia." And I'm like, "Yeah,
It's so smart.
I don't know." And so then I'm just like on my phone, like, Yemen, like, where is Yemen? And then I pulled up the map, and I was like, okay. I'm like, he's getting something from those games that he's playing. Like, just figuring out what he's learning. Like, I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure he's memorizing this and knows 3,041 times 5,450, you know? But x plus y equals b to the t. I don't know, but I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure he memorized that. But then I had to stop myself and say,
Mm,
how is this experience helping him become the person he is going to be
I
when
love
he
that.
becomes a part of our society? But
Yes.
that's something that this experience I've seen like benefit my son 1,000%, and just the people that we meet on this journey too.
I love that. So I noticed you're taking a more holistic approach to his
Yeah.
education. You're really focusing on his needs, what motivates him, what he loves, what his natural interests are, and really developing activities that really
Mhm.
help to blossom him. So
Yeah.
I really love that. And I
And
love how
it
you were
goes from
sharing how you're,
like education to even fun stuff. Like it can be
yeah.
from something like he may not see it as amazing, but I do. Like you can go meet
Mhm.
Jane Goodall, or we can go to the Nerf, Battle Blaster experience at SoFi
Yeah,
Stadium, and we just, having a good time. Like we do the most
exactly.
interesting activities together, and I
That's
always just try to like
beautiful.
change it up so we each keep each other on our toes.
I love that. And I love how you're just sharing how this homeschooling process, it seems like it brought you closer. Like you were saying, now you know your son on a
Mhm.
deeper level, as before you're just ripping and running and ripping and running. And so you don't really get to see him in
Mhm.
all of his different facets until, you're able to step back. So I love that. But I
Mhm.
have another question for you.
Okay.
This is a question that a lot of homeschooling families want to know. It's just like, okay, we're going to talk about your business shortly, but you
Mhm.
have a business and, you're a mom and you're homeschooling, you're doing it all. How do you create that, you know, homeschool work-life balance? Like, how are you able to make it all work without like stressing out? What do you do when you're scared?
Well, I do stress. Like we all have stress, but like I have, such a over the years I had to develop like a different system. Mental health is very important to me. I make sure I check in like with my therapist, but I also have a background in therapy. But I built my businesses around, self-care and, just making sure I don't have too much of an overload, taking on things I can't handle. With
Mm.
my homeschool business, I only work that 2 days a week.
Oh,
We
wow.
do like literally we only have programming on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Nice.
And it's like we come in, we do our classes, and then I go home. I may do a little bit of admin work, but it's like, I still have to do my daily tasks. Like I wake up in the morning way before, the world wakes up, it seems like. And, I have to have my time before I give it to anybody else. I can be nothing to, my family if I'm nothing to myself first. So when I first wake up in the morning, I'm trying to center myself, because
Mm.
I used to have that time where I would wake up and it's just like I'm rushing. Like I don't even have time to really think about what I need to do because I'm rushing to do all of these many things. But I just try to, go with the schedule that I try to wake up, create the schedule I already have. But then also, it's okay to deter. Sometimes if, my son wakes up, we're not homeschooling 5 days a week. Sometimes he needs a mental wellness, day. We just go to the beach. We don't have too many of those days, but sometimes I may not be, at my best. But it's just like coming back around to say, like, okay, today wasn't the best day, but tomorrow will be. And
Yes.
tomorrow we will work on this and this and this. Like we set goals, monthly goals, and our hybrid experience helps keeps us accountable. In the
Yes.
2 days a week that we do with the homeschool bunch, that helps us get, our outdoor socialization and, experiencing new things. And then, we have other things that we do, like our extracurriculars. But for me, it's just like, I try to make sure that, my son's 12 now. He's getting to that. We're in different phases now. He's a pre-tween.
Mm.
He doesn't
Yeah.
want to be around me all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just like navigating this journey and also the phases of where we are in life. um it's different for every person. Like what I'm going through right now, you may not be going through right now, or you already went through it, you
Mm.
know
True
and
story.
it's just like it's ties in so much to our life. But like for us, like I try my hardest to separate it. Sometimes it meshes, but I try to take my hat off to it. And
Mm.
for me, it's just like staying informed, talking to people, building that community, reading. Like I was telling you, I met a gentleman the other day, and he gave me a gem, and it had me, just come home last night and reevaluate, you know, my how I'm handling things as a homeschool mom and a mom.
Wow.
You know.
I love it. So, if you can share, like for families that are interested in starting the homeschool process, like what is a tip or two that you would share with someone that's thinking about beginning this homeschool journey?
Yeah, and I talk about that. I do have a book that I share with my clients who I consult with, and in there I really talk about you know intro to homeschooling, like things to look out for, like just how to get started with it. The I guess navigating the homeschool journey is different for everybody, no matter where they are, but we do have a few common things. And some of those things is just like to get us started, like, do you even know what homeschooling is? And like
Start with the basics.
start with the basics, like because you hear homeschooling and there's so many different like there's a negative connotation about homeschooling, and my goal is really to demystify that and debunk that.
Mm,
That's why I have like at the homeschool bunch we say doing school differently.
I love
But it's
that.
just like, first you have to learn about homeschooling. Is it for you? Is it for your family? You don't want to be one of those moms or dads who's, okay, I'm pulling my kids out. But then it's like, can you handle what homeschool is cooking?
Mm,
Like it's really taking on personalities. Like you are choosing to be around your children 24/7. Like,
yeah.
unless you have a drop off center, that's what you are choosing to do. But it's just like, how are you going to navigate that? How are you going to choose to organize your day? What activities are you going to do? Are you going to go to park days? We tried that. But that doesn't work for everybody. So it's like we said, we need to develop our own community,
Mm,
or some people say, you know what? I want to travel. I'm a world schooler. Okay. How do you go about doing that? And it's like I had to figure out where I wanted to be on this homeschool journey for it to work for me and my family. So what I did was I followed people like yourself, like other people like the Mom School Trotter or Lux and Found.
right.
There's different type of homeschool um, people say influencers, but I see them as my community sisters. Like
Mm,
they drop those gems, and like they tell me, they don't just show me the best parts, they show me the good, bad, and the ugly, of homeschooling. Like that's definitely helped me on my journey too.
I
So
love
it's
it.
just like following those people have helped me figure out what type of homeschooler person that I want to be. And it told me to create my own path on this homeschool journey. I didn't just create the homeschool bunch overnight. Like the homeschool bunch, was built with me going to that first convention,
Wow.
with it just sticking in my head. That was when my son was 4. My son is 12 now. Like,
That's
so over the
amazing.
course of like 8 years, it's just like, I've learned so much about homeschooling. I'm still learning. And it's interesting how the pandemic happened. And
Mm,
now there's a whole different dynamic to homeschooling. Like there's people who homeschool, there's people who school at home. Um,
remote
you know,
schooling.
yeah,
Virtual.
like virtual schooling, like,
Yes, co-op homeschooling. Yeah, there's so many different options.
there's so many different options. So it's like, figuring out how you want to navigate this journey. I know it seems, very confusing. But it's like find those resources, like join the Facebook groups. Like I was not a social media person, and I had to join Facebook to figure out how to navigate my homeschool journey. And I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for the Facebook groups, if it wasn't for like
Mhm.
groups like yours, that gave us that insight to the homeschool world and let us know that we're not alone. Because it seems like we're alone sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. It's nice to know that we are not.
Yeah.
And you've been getting a lot of love in the chat, lots of hearts and lots of
Oh,
comments.
thank
I've
you
been
guys.
putting them up. And then someone was asking if this would be recorded. It is, so you'll be able to rewatch it. So, because we do not want to miss any of these gems. And then even if you are here and you want to re-listen, because sometimes we miss some things, we'll
Mhm.
hear it, but you listen to it again and it'll stick. Because Miesha is like really dropping all the gold nuggets. Want to scoop them all up. So
Mhm.
you've been sharing all about this amazing homeschool bunch. Can you share more about it? How we can get in contact with you? And I
Yes.
also want to talk about this art that you do also. So I want
Yes.
to hear it all.
So the homeschool bunch, it was honestly started. I feel like everything that I start, it was not meant to be what it has become, but it has become it. So we're rolling with it. Um, but like I said, I came from a tech background. Well, I have a marketing background, and then I worked in tech. And then it's just everything happened the way it's supposed to happen, I guess. But I started the homeschool bunch. It's a take on the Brady Bunch.
Mm.
Um, and I consider myself like the Black Miss Frizzle. So
Oh.
I'm taking my kids on field trips. We had our first session in, I think, February, where we were at a tech center in Los Angeles. It's called the SOLA Tech and Entrepreneurship Center. And the kids did coding there, cooking, yoga. They had like a really nice, it's a beautiful campus in South Central Los Angeles. And we did all these activities, science, STEM, robotics, cooking, art, just so many different, enrichment classes for the kids. And literally every 45 minutes, it was a different class.
Wow.
So that's like the model that I run. When people call me, they're just like, oh, so what do you guys teach? Are you guys doing the math, science, history? And I'm like, yeah, no. It's just like I'm showing them like, hey, like we want the kids just to be kids. We want them to like learn. They're gonna learn, but you guys, we give you the resources on how to do that other stuff. Go to Khan Academy. If you want to do math, go to Sylvan. You still have to pay for things outside, but we show them like how to, make learning fun through STEAM-based principles and
Yeah.
activities.
So you're
Um,
doing the more experiential learning,
yeah,
hands-on,
yeah.
which I have did some studies, and they were just saying, like, when a child actually does the activities, they retain 90% of the information versus when they read it, they retain like 10% after 2
Hmm.
weeks. When they hear it, it's 20% after,
Yeah,
2 weeks, and then if they, like, watch, it's 30%. But if they're actually doing what you say, going to the field trips, learning hands-on, they retain 90%, which is amazing. So, yeah,
yeah. And
as
so
one
for
was saying,
us,
it's
it's just,
priceless.
yeah, no, but for us, it's just a matter of them like, actually having the hands-on experience. Like, I'm not like a big fan of zoos, but if I do want my son to learn about giraffes, we're going to go to a safari. you know
Mm.
and there's safaris, like in San Diego, or like there's one I heard in like Northern California. It's things like that. Yes, we can just learn about it in a book, but that's not how I want my son to learn. I want him to know that he can go out there and he can explore, and there's a whole world out there for him to explore. The books, just I can't. So nothing, like I'm actually working on writing my own books, but it's just like I feel that we have to start creating the content that we want for our kids. And then that's what I do, like in my program, when we do our different classes, like they're learning, but it's just like, are they retaining that information? And when I hear my son say certain things, or even the kids say certain things, I'm like, wow, like you do get it, like you
Mhm.
are processing this.
Absolutely.
So it's really just I want to be the person, for people to understand, like, hey, you can do this, you can do it on a budget, you can do it with, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You can make it happen. And also the power of community, like coming together with my community to get my journey started. Like, when I got back into the homeschool community, it was honestly, during the pandemic. A client I was working for, we literally, started a homeschool in one of her rooms of her house.
Wow.
And I was working for an entertainment client at that time, and we had his kids there, his assistant. He was having, photo shoots. And it was crazy because he had just came off a tour,
Mm.
and we were like, okay, how are we gonna homeschool these kids? And so all the kids, they were like, well, Miesha, you have experience homeschooling. I'm like, yeah, my child, like, like, just. And then with the kids, it was so funny because they were on, like, it was so crazy. I've experienced so many different aspects of this homeschool journey, but during the pandemic, they all had like different class times for like the Zoom
Mhm.
stuff. And so literally we had like 6 kids, all with their tablets, all on like different Zoom classes. And we had to put them in different rooms of the house. And then like their dad, like he has a photo shoot scheduled, or he's on, like he would probably be on a call with
Wow.
like Essence or something. Right.
Wow.
And like we're doing like everybody's on a Zoom call, right? And then I was just like, oh my God, this is so crazy. And then I was like, we gotta break this up. So then, like, we had a chef come in, and she did cooking
Mm.
classes with the kids, during
Mm.
the pandemic. And
That's
then we
fun.
started doing gardening, and it was like it just built up, honestly. And now we have the homeschool bunch, and
I love it.
we go on
How
field trips. We do partnerships with like gardeners. It's just
mm.
amazing experience.
So how can they get in contact with you in terms of the homeschooling bunch? Because I would love to put that up so
Yeah.
they
So,
can see.
if you would like to learn more about the homeschool bunch, it's at the homeschool bunch on Instagram and TikTok, and on Facebook, it's the Homeschool Bunch LA. You have to make sure you put the LA behind there. Our website is www.thehomeschoolbunch.com. And the best way to reach us is definitely email. So it's just hello@thehomeschoolbunch.com. And we will be happy to chat with you. We do provide consultation services. And honestly, the homeschool bunch is everywhere. You don't have to be in LA. You know, you're homeschool. You're part of the homeschool bunch. If you want to join, just follow us on those platforms, because our mission is just to create community. I do admit that we do provide a lot of information about like Los Angeles area events, but we just like to provide information about homeschooling in general, because this journey is not easy, you know, and you can make it through. Like we do homeschool affirmations,
I love
because
it.
we need, you know, that boost, you know, sometimes to keep going, and also to encourage our kids. Like I told you, today was the last day of my son's hybrid program, and it took a lot for us to get to that point. And I told him, I said, you know, at he goes to school 2 days a week for a homeschool hybrid, and I said at 3:16 p.m. you will officially be a seventh grader. You know, so it's like we're going through these milestones together, and that's something that's just really exciting for us.
I love it. Can you see this? It's all correct. So on
Yes.
TikTok, it's the Homeschool Bunch and Instagram, and on
Hmm.
Facebook at the Homeschool Bunch LA. The
Yeah.
website is www.thehomeschoolbunch.com, and then they can reach you at hello@thehomeschoolbunch.com.
Yes.
Okay, we'll leave that up. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit? I mean, I'm an artist at heart.
Uh-huh.
So what you do with art is amazing. Could you please share that with us?
Yes. So Paint It Off is that actually started off as a passion project as well. Um, I was on a board for a local college, and we were trying to raise money for the school. And what we said was, I said, oh, well, let's have a paint and sip. And so I partner with like a local hotel. I love boutique hotels, so it's called the Ace Hotel. They have like locations like all over.
Wow.
And so I partnered with them, and we started doing paint and sips there.
Mm,
And then it just like I love art. I've always all loved art, right? But with this, it kind of just like took off because of the way that we do it. It was paint by numbers. So
mm,
initially, when we got started, we were ordering like paint by numbers, like wholesale from another company, and then I just started creating my own.
wow.
And like though, like the designs we were doing like faces at first, and then people were like, "Oh, we want this." Like they were like, "We don't want a picture of like this celebrity in our house. Like we want a picture of ourselves or a dog." So then like I just started doing custom designs, and then it
Wow.
kind of went. It was interesting because I had got laid off from my job, and
Mm,
this all like literally I could tell you how it happened. I started Paint It Off. If you guys are into art, follow me at Paint It Off on Instagram. But if you scroll all the way down, I started Paint It Off January 26, 2020. And this is how my life began. um, in February, I was laid off from my job. I didn't know
wow.
what I was going to do. Literally a week later, I got my first contract
Mm,
for my company for Paint It Off for $10,000 for a two
wow.
day event. And
Wow.
I was like, ma'am, ma'am. And so I said, okay, this is what we're doing. So we do paint now. We do paint parties. But it was more
Nice.
than paint parties. The company is called Paint It Off. But within it, I pretty much have a name for every craft that we do. So there's Paint It Off, and there's also Bloom and Sip. With Paint It Off and Bloom and Sip, I have paint parties. And then like with Bloom and Sip, we actually did experiences with West Elm, where we would go into their stores and we would do workshops there. With those workshops, we would do, we also infuse cognitive behavioral therapy into
Mm,
our workshops. And I don't want to say therapy, I say topics into our workshops where we're talking about different topics. We're talking about self care. We're talking about, coping with your mental health, in a new work environment while we're crafting something. It's really just what we do is called craft therapy. And so
mm,
with Paint It Off, like I create these kits, but we also, when we're hosting events, we do cognitive behavioral questions with our clients, and then
okay.
we also just have fun. My company was a paint and sip company, but during the pandemic, as I mentioned, like I didn't just want to promote sipping, because we were in that space, and that's just something that a lot of us did. So then what I did was I transformed it into a wellness company. And because that's what we
Love that.
needed, during the pandemic, our company took off. Like I started from, I was working my job, I got laid off, and then we had the pandemic. Like it was a shutdown. I got that first contract. We weren't even really able to fulfill that contract because it was an in person event and there was a shutdown. So we had to
Ah,
figure out how to pivot. So we pivoted to do virtual events. So literally during the
mm,
pandemic, I homeschooled my son. I did virtual paint events for
wow.
corporations, for colleges. I like literally we just shipped our kits to these different people, and like I literally went from working in my home, like it, oh my god, you should see, like you can see it on the Painting Off, like just my journey. But we started off working in our home, then we got office space. They shut down because of the pandemic. Then we got a warehouse, and then they shut down. Like it was just like COVID has been so interesting, but now like where we are now, it's like okay, we're still gonna keep pushing through. Now we do art in the park. We
I
still
love that.
make our kits, people, we have distributors. I have a lot of homeschool parents who also, they like doing art. So they order our kits wholesale and they do art in park where they are. And it's a way for them to make money to fund their education system for their kids, but also have fun. I have people who order my kits and they have paint and sip companies of their own where they live. Like
Mm,
that's how we're able to like keep this going, whether it's for educational purposes or, like fun. But with the paint company, like I work with so many different people on this journey. Like I incorporated into the homeschool bunch where we do art
I
in the
love
park.
that. That's
But
beautiful.
then for like Paint It Off, it's taken off in so many different areas. Like we started off doing, the hotel events. We started off doing like so many different things. We were selling direct to consumer. People were
Mm,
ordering our kits online during COVID and just painting at home. And then we just started doing wholesale only. We went to trade shows. We've been in hotels and resorts. Like people like resorts order our kits, and because it's instruction free. You don't have to be an artist to do our kits. Like literally, it's paint by numbers, or it's an outline of a design. It could be your grandmother, or it could be your dog. It could be,
wow.
Marilyn Monroe, whatever you want. Like we do these different, like in the Frida. Oh my God, we have a Frida one. If you go to our site, people love that one. And then when they paint it, it's like, oh, I did that. But it's
Mm,
also that mental health and mental wellness component because you were off your phone for this long. You were not I mean, hopefully you weren't scrolling. Like you want to get this completed because when you do complete it, it looks like the painting you have behind you. Like I
mm.
admire that painting behind you. But it's
Oh,
like I did not do this. No, but it's just like that's something with my company and anything that I do, I want to help people bring out their inner child. And so with painting off, it's like a lot of people haven't painted since they were a kid. And we like to let them know, like, hey, you can create this, you can have a good time and just, just de-stress, center yourself, whether it's for a gift or you're looking to have a party or you're even looking to do a kids party. Like, we started doing kids parties. It's like whatever you may need it for. You're really just having a good time. And people love our, products because it comes with everything you need. It includes like the wooden easel, the
Ooh.
paintbrushes,
Nice.
a napkin, an easel. Like when we do it for our clients, we make them custom napkins, so it's almost like
Okay.
it's their own product. But we yeah, it's just a really fun experience. Like it includes an apron, so you feel like you're a whole artist. Okay,
It's a
and you
whole
have this.
experience.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. You got like this little wooden easel. You got your paint. You got your paint palette. You're like, yes, like I'm an artiste. You're a little
Yeah,
Bob Ross. Like we help bring out the Bob Ross in everybody.
I think that's
But we have
beautiful.
such a good time during our events. And, but COVID was definitely an interesting experience. Now we do more intimate paint. Like we do intimate paint parties for some of our clients. But because we have so many people that order from us like wholesale, they do it, we just refer them to our different distributors and stuff.
I love that.
So but it's really a great experience. And yeah, if you're interested in art, follow us at Paint It Off.
Yes, and this is something that they can also incorporate into their homeschool curriculum if their children are interested
Yeah,
in art.
so we do you can buy we do accept homeschool charter funds if you're in Los
Mhm.
Angeles. But we are going to start selling on Amazon too. But right now at this time we only sell wholesale, but we're looking to provide more basic, so we do educational kits. So what we do is if you buy a paint kit from us, you may buy like a series of paint kits where you're learning about something in particular, like a Mansa Musa paint kit, like where you're
I love
learning
it.
about, like four different aspects of this, or like say you're learning about gardening, like we may have like a cute, like, and we work with like local artists to create these different contents. But if you're learning about gardening, you may be painting like a plant, a banana, but it's a really unique banana. It's not like just one of your coloring book bananas. Like it has like an art component to it. It may
Yeah.
be like we like to infuse, like it may be like a Lego style banana. Like it's gonna be a
Ooh.
fun art piece. So
Yes.
people like how we create like unique. We have fun with it. You let us know what you're interested in. You give us a theme, and we run with it. So we really enjoy the projects that we have worked on. We call ourselves like a boutique, business, but we work with. I'm also vendorized with the state of California. So we are, we have a summer camp that we're doing this summer.
I
It's
love
like so
it.
many things that we're doing with this. We're getting, art grants. Oh my gosh. So I definitely, that's something that's been like amazing for us. Like we're working to become a nonprofit, but we like yesterday we just found it out that we secured a $10,000 grant, and those type of grants will help us, get more, resources and
Amazing.
partner with more vendors. Like Lord knows we need it, because like in our industry we accept charter funds, and it takes a while for us to receive those funds. And so
Mm,
it's just like, trying to, make sure our kids get the resources and, keep this thing going. We're just trying to make sure everything happens. Oh,
I
I see
love
a
that.
question.
Yes. Can teenagers participate in the homeschool bunch?
Yes, they can participate, but I'm going to be honest. I have a pre-tween, and the biggest challenge of the teenage community is getting the parents. Teenagers are not going to participate on their own, But then we're also at a state where it's like the parents really, we have to advocate for our teens. We have to create these spaces for them, and that's something that I do. I'm working on like almost weekly. I'm always trying to invite my son's friends or people in my, I'm posting in all these Facebook groups in my area, like, hey, anybody want to get together and go to, the Nerf Battle Blaster at the SoFi Stadium? Anybody want to get together and go to Monster Jam? Anybody want to take a trip to San Diego, like hop on an Amtrak? Like, and I'm getting these people together. Like next week, we're having, Lord willing, with the weather in California, we're having a beach party, like an end of the year beach party for homeschoolers. So it's just like I'm building that community has been very interesting for the teenagers. We will definitely, I will love to work with teenagers in any place that we are, but we have to be better advocates. I will say that. I'm challenging all of us who have pre-tweens and teens. We got to start now. I know it's so easy for us to like go into our shell with this homeschool journey, but for our kids to make it, especially in the homeschool world, we have to come together more, and like speak up more for teens who homeschool.
Absolutely. I love it. So we have another question. You're open. So this is question time. We have a
Oh,
couple
okay.
more minutes. Okay. So, do you have a distant event for adults with art?
We did a lot of that during COVID. We will start virtual events for our Paint It Off. But right now, all we do is we sell it wholesale, and people just order wholesale from us. But we do have times where we do like local events. So we like in Los Angeles. If you're in Los Angeles, we'll be doing like paint on the plot. It's called Paint Playas. So like Paint Beach. So we do paint parties at the beach, where we just come out, set up our easels, and we're just having a good time. And we bring out food, massage therapists. It's like a really vibe.
Nice. I love it. Someone was just sharing. You're getting a lot of love, so you have to go back and see all the love that you're getting
Thank
in the
you.
comments. And someone saying they
Oh,
agree with your
Inglewood. I'm
statement
from
about your
Inglewood.
sweet. Yes, so that
Yes.
is the next question. They would love to participate. So
Yeah, the
we can.
beaches. Oh, you must live out here. Well, so the beaches will be so we're gonna be at Dockweiler Beach actually for our summer camp this summer. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. But I live in the South Bay, so like pretty much just sign up for the homeschool bunch, get the announcements, follow us on Instagram, and we'll let you know which beach that will be at. But I'm anywhere from Malibu to Newport Beach. Like I go everywhere along the beach. I may be in Mexico. I may say, "Hey, meet me in Tulum."
Yeah.
Like I may. That's not like we may me and embrace your free. Maybe like, hey, come out
Yes. Yay.
to this paint party.
Yes.
But it's really just
Absolutely. We
about
would
us
love
having a
that.
good time. So the for Paint It Off, if you're looking for information for Paint It Off, it's um at Paint It Off on Instagram, at Paint It Off on TikTok, and www.paintitoff.com on the web. Yeah,
Yes.
Dockweiler Beach is like everything. So yeah, we're excited about that. It's just really just getting people out and connecting again. Paint It Off is so many different places you can do it with, but like we do it with apartment communities. When they have community events, just so you can get to know your neighbors. They provide the wine and the charcuterie boards, just things like that. And then we even do things like paint your pet. And where I live, we have something called Wallace Annenberg Pet Space, where we did a paint your pet event.
Mhm.
And like literally people sent in pictures of their pets. We turned into a freestyle design, and they had a good old time painting their pet. But like we even do it for funerals, like funerals, family reunions. Like we get so many different requests for them. Oh, okay, yeah. I do consultations on how to start a homeschool pod where you are. That's our primary goal, is to help people start. That's for the homeschool bunch. So we do help people start. Like it doesn't have to be the homeschool bunch. We do help people start their own pods wherever they may be. And so for us, like if you follow us on Instagram, we have tips to starting your own homeschool pod. But it's like really just like finding the community, determining what you guys are going to learn about, making sure you're aligning with the right people. I love the people that I'm with. They have such a diverse background. Finding out what do you guys have time for. Do people have time to invest in this, or do you guys need to pull your money together and pay somebody to do it?
Mhm.
And the resources, like somebody, like we're all trying to figure out this journey together. So it's just like, what resources do you need? And it's area based too. What works for me may not work for you. Like you may have a different experience where you are, right, versus where I am. So that's something that we do with the homeschool bunches. We give you more customized consultation based on starting a homeschool pod in your area, but also navigating your homeschool journey wherever you may be. Because you'll see it in these homeschool groups. People are just like, I keep, the school keeps calling me and telling me that I can't homeschool my child. And then you see us in the comments like, honey, like, and so it's
Mhm.
just like we help you navigate that experience, like of starting a homeschool pod, just starting your homeschool journey. We help you navigate that experience, like getting parent participation. That's something that's very important. Like we have something called the Parent Guide program. And so, like, a lot of our parents can't participate in our program because they are busy, but some of them aren't. And so they may not be able to pay, what our program costs, but they can donate their time. So
I
we
love
like
that.
to, that's a model that we built in, and that's what we teach to people that we consult. It's something that we highly recommend. It gives you different options, but we also show you how to start your pod and how to make it financially a financial, profit off of it too. Like we make our profit off the art in the park. That's something that we infuse in it. We sell it, in kits. We're vendorized with several different charter schools in Los Angeles area. And that's how the homeschool bunch works. But if you do want to start a homeschool pod in your area, we show you how to, create events, how to create engagement, how to like find the right resources and tools, field trips. We help you with that whole experience. And it is a 4-week program, but we do meet once a week. So, but it's a really exciting program, and we give you all the tips and tools that you need to have a successful pod in your area.
Powerful. I love it. Well, it's the top of the hour, and you have shared such a wealth of information, so much.
Thank you.
So, yes, this has been such a joy and honor connecting with you. I feel honored that
Thank
you
you.
have just shared, I mean, the list goes on. You were dropping names and books and, different communities and like you said, your homeschooling sisters and all of that. And yeah, this is priceless. So I know that the fellow members of Black Homeschoolers Unite
Mhm.
absolutely loves you. And I'm just gonna
Thank you.
put up one more time the information on the homeschool bunch because I know you're going to be getting a lot of information of emails, people asking more questions. Is there anything else you want to share before we head out? Because this has been phenomenal.
Well, yeah, I just want to share that I do consultation. So if anybody is looking to learn more, or if you're looking to start a homeschool pod, or just you need help on this homeschool journey and you just need a more customized experience, that's what I do. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can reach me at hello at the homeschool bunch. We also have our homeschool one-on-one consultation toolkit. I will share the discount code with you for your community. And we look forward to connecting with you all. But be sure to follow us at the Homeschool Bunch. And if you're into art or looking to, find, a financial stream to add to your homeschool journey, reach out to us at Paint It Off as well.
Nice. Again, thank you so much for your time, your expertise, your energy, your brilliance.
Thank
We
you.
really, really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And you have a phenomenal rest of your weekend.
Yes, I can't believe it's Friday and it's the last day of 6th grade for me. So I
Wow,
just wanted to, then I want to
congratulations.
share, with everyone, like it's an amazing journey. Like I'm so ready that, our school is over. I'm taking this time to reflect. We can be really hard on ourselves. And so I just want to encourage everyone, keep going. You're doing the right thing. You're going to have your naysayers, but just keep up the good fight and know that what you're doing is the right thing for your child. You may not have all the right answers. We're still trying to figure it out, but you can do this. And yes, you are the best teacher. And what you don't know, there's someone in your community who may know, and it's okay to ask for help. So that's what I really just want to like leave everyone with. I hope you guys all find your community. I'm so I'm grateful to be a part of your community and just for this opportunity. I've learned so much from you over the years. The gems, I admire and I love your family. I just love your pictures. I'm just like, okay, mentally, I'm there. It could be raining in California, but I could look at your profile and it's sunny and I see the smiles and y'all at the beach somewhere. And so I just transport to where you are. But I truly appreciate everything that you do for us. And I just want to give you your
Oh,
flowers because I truly appreciate everything that
thank
you share with us because you're very transparent, and I appreciate that.
thank you. And a reflection of you. Yeah. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. This wraps up our very first podcast. More to come. This is a great way to start it off with the amazing Miesha.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the community.
All righty. Happy summer, everybody. Have a good one.
Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.